all those, all those separate bank accounts. So there's still a bit of loophole. The challenge is to track hidden income, and that is why um, the adoption of technology is important. So you can look at with the cashless policy now operational in Nigeria, and consequent integration of more taxpayers into the financial system. There is an opportunity for tax authorities to track unidentified income through by integrating with their system with the financial institution. Okay, now we look at the kind of challenges being faced by the tax administrator in the adoption of technology for tax administration. So, infrastructural challenge. We all know there's a huge infrastructural deficits in the country, both in all the sectors, in all the sectors, banking, everywhere, majorly. There is huge infrastructural challenge, both physical infrastructure and also, you know, software infrastructure, network, and all that. So the first issue is, network issues. You go to okay, say you want to apply for TCC, they tell you to apply on the portal, and you can't even open that portal for 7 days, or even after you've done your application, you follow up with it. We follow up with the tax guys, and they're telling you that the portal has been down for 2 weeks. They can't do anything. So that's like a snag. That results in everybody, in people going back to how it's been done before, go back to the paper, and that is a kind of a regression on what the tax admin is trying to achieve. Now, there's also the issue of database and server, and there's also the issue of portal downtime. So for database and server issues, I've been in a situation whereby so when FIRS was running this system where you can the ETC portal system where you can generate your ETCC TCC and receipts on the portal. I've been in a situation whereby one of my clients has made payments for some taxes, but it's not reflecting on the portal. Why? Because the office where the taxpayers thing is domiciled, the company does not have the infrastructure to upload those remittances on the portal. You even go to some offices that is everything, even in Lagos. I mean, everything that they still do is still file and all that. So for one reason or the other, they are not connected to the to even FIRS database, and they cannot operate the server as they should. So at the end of the day, um, you are still going back to the Stone Age method of looking for your filing, doing paper filing for everything that comes, that every transaction between the taxpayer and the tax officials. So next slide, please. So another challenge with um, electronic taxation is tax awareness. So this particular heading, is not only about technology really, because it's also about um, that's the tax administration challenge in Nigeria, basically, whether we are using technology or whether we're not using technology. So because the truth is, tax awareness is relatively low in Nigeria. So a good number of people don't even know they don't even know uh, exact amount of or the way they should calculate their tax. And this is common in the informal sector, the agros and so. I remember there was maybe a few years ago when Oniru Beach was still hot. So I went to the beach, and with a good number of people, and we had to pay, I think, 1,000 naira each for every one of us to enter. And I just wonder, where does this money is collected? Where does the money go? In a night, I'm sure those boys, they collect nothing less than 10 million every night. So I don't know. I don't have the data to actually estimate, but I mean, just use doing a random educated guess. So where does that amount of those money, where do they go to? And because even if you look at because the money is not being spent on infrastructure, the beach gets as the year goes by, the beach gets worse and worse. Nothing is being fixed there. So that's not the only sector. Go to the motor parks, go to everywhere you look around you, the informal sector, a lot of revenue is being generated, and there's no there is no formalized method of collecting those the taxes that is due to the government there. So yeah, I mean, tax awareness is a problem, and of course, tax culture within us too. It's also a problem, because think about it. Um, if I don't see what government is using my tax for, basically, why would I be encouraged to pay to pay taxes and all that? Yeah. So next slide, please. Yeah. So another challenge is lack of necessary laws until recently. So if I stand to be corrected, Obina, but I think I'm right to say that it was in the Finance 2020 Act that the government, provided for interaction between taxpayer and the tax officials to be done virtually. It wasn't until COVID-19 and the resultant effects that those kind of things came up, and it's where it's been gazetted. So yeah, we take it as it's not the law. But until recently, there are no laws that make adoption of technology is not imbibed into the law. Yeah, and there's still a lot of other things that needed to be, or that needs to be done to in terms of legislation, to ensure that yes, the law supports the adoption of technology with fully. There has been some here and there um, directives, legislation, and all that. But yeah, and if you compare it with other countries where there is an organized system of tax admin, yeah, I mean the laws are there, supporting the adoption of technology in their tax administration. So next slide, please. Okay. Another challenge is the lack of incentive to pay tax. I think I've spoken about this before. If I don't see what my tax is doing, I will not want to pay tax. Not to talk of paying that tax electronically. So a situation whereby people or companies are victims of bad government policy. One one vivid example that I came across is, maybe when government wants to start doing a particular construction, road or rail or something, there will be a lot of